Marti Resnick. Saved my life. Months before my memoir workshop was even a glint in my mind's eye, my wonderful friend Sonia said, "You should take that line and write the story." Every 2 weeks or so, Sonia and I get together in my apartment. I order dinner and from some up West Side joint, and Sonia brings a bottle of wine. My husband goes into temporary exile at his office nearby. He respects the need for the special time we share together, and besides, he gets to indulge his workaholic habit guilt-free. When food arrives, we sit around my dining table and talk about what's new in our lives. Politics, philosophy, and on and on. At dinner's end, we return to my sofa. Sonia smokes a joint, and I get a contact high. "Tell me one of your stories," she says. So tonight I reminisce about the summer of '67 and the time I spent at the Garrick Theater on Bleecker Street, where Frank Zappa and the Mothers had taken up residency. My boyfriend of 4 years, my friends nicknamed him Rocker Boy, had broken up with me. I was crushed beyond the beyond, the unthinkable. This breakup had happened. I lost my innocence at that moment and could feel only excruciating pain and anguish. By luck, my brother urged me to go down to the village and see the Mothers. What I found was an extraordinary guitarist and composer whose songs called out hippie posers as well as straights who called them a degenerate and freak. Shows lasted for hours into the night, and I returned again and again to lose myself in the music and the antics. Eventually, the band recognized my devotion and ushered me in through the stage door, admission free. They'd ask me to join them on stage, where I'd be dancing and singing and playing the tambourine with Susie Cream Cheese. While there, my despair lifted. Poof. My claim to fame, so to speak, was originating the song, "What's the Ugliest Part of Your Body?" Frank tore out an ad for the cream Pretty Feet and asked me to read it out loud while he strummed behind me. "What's the ugliest part of your body? Some say it's your nose, some say it's your toes." In the album version, he adds, "But I think it's your mind." One night, Ray Collins, the lead singer, lifted my dress up in front of the audience. It was lovely, light green organza, foofy in a feminine and hippie sort of way. Guess he thought it was a cool frock. But as the skirt neared my head, he abruptly stopped. "Oh, sorry," he said. "I didn't realize you were wearing a bra," which apparently ruined the effect he was going for. Sometimes I would stroll down Charles Street and hang out at Frank's apartment. I bounced his infant daughter, Moon Unit, on my knee, and he asked celebrities to clear out just so we could chat. It's in my makeup to be able to experience joy even as I'm in the grip of pain. Thank you, Frank Zappa, for saving my life that long summer. Rocker boy has nothing on you. Before Frank died of cancer in 1993, he wrote these words: "There will come a time when everybody who is lonely will be free to sing and dance and love. There will come a time when every evil that we know will be an evil that we can rise above. Who cares if hair is long or short or sprayed or partly grayed? We know that hair ain't where it's at. There will come a time when you won't even be ashamed if you are fat." I will see.
Dorothy Friedman. I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never want to let you go. 'Cause you started something, oh can't you see? That ever since you met you've had a hold on me. It happens to be true. I only want to be with you. This is an excerpt from a memoir in progress. It's called Beryl on the Beach. I was married on June 3rd, the same day Valerie Solanas shot Andy Warhol. It was the same year I left my husband for Betty Friedan. I like that. A woman are one. A woman and a bird are one. I do not know whether I prefer you just before or just after sex, I tell her. When you are like icicles or when you are barbaric. I only know that all the birds are flying, and woman make love all afternoon, listening to the rain. They resemble no one else but themselves. They are curved and touching. They are round like breasts. One is blue, her veins are visible. The other orange like the sun. The house they make love in is yellow. There is garbage on the grass. The women cling to the yellow walls, its paper peeling, the roof leaking. It is raining in. Sex with Beryl was natural and felt like we were swimming out to sea together on waves that caressed us. She loved me hot and passionately. I was more of a glacier melting under her hands, responding with long, tender murmurings of pleasure. We were inseparable, whether together or apart. I remember when we first made love on the beach in Neponset. It was November, and Beryl and I were kissing and hugging unashamedly on the sandy shore. Two women, and yet so natural, as we touched each other's breasts. Why hadn't I realized it before? I'd certainly had the urge to fondle a woman I was fond of. I remember Marion on the beach, this time Manhattan Beach, and I was 14. The radio was blaring, I had a girl, Donna was her name. And Paul Anka was singing about a woman named Diana. I remember those sprawling, don't give a shit about the time afternoons, drowning in smells of suntan, as they clung to Marion's skin, confusion at the joy of running my hands over her soft shoulders and neck, and letting some drip between her breasts, to watch her smooth it away as I rubbed more and more lotion into her skin. As I remember my desire to fondle my girlfriends, I felt Beryl's hands caressing me through my bathing suit. We were standing shoulder to shoulder, both 5'3" and locked in a passionate embrace. From there was only a short distance to her bedroom. where we explored each other intimately for the first time. Both awkward at first, but it wasn't long before we crossed the boundary into lovers. She is my wife. I am her wife. We are each a knife dark as the sun. I am her captive. She is my captive. We crash into each other on the runway. These crashes lasted for years. We grinned and gave each other bananas. Beryl and I were hilarious together. She was everything my parents weren't, including a cockeyed optimist. I never had to worry whether Beryl would keep me or give me away, like I did with my mother, who had warm breasts but was afraid she would return me to the orphanage at any moment. Beryl wanted to marry me long before gay marriage was legal, but choosing between my nice Jewish husband and my hot lesbian lover was a conundrum. So I swung between the two, between Brooklyn and Far Rockaway. They had been friends for over 5 years. They both wrote poetry. They visited each other using car services, traveled together the night route, and often saw dawn from the Marine Parkway Bridge. I am excellent at making a home, I tell her. I am putting them on, wondering if they might break. No icky sperm. No having to clean up afterwards, other than straightening the sheets. No invasion. It wasn't hard versus soft, but two bodies flowing to their own natural rhythms. She is my wife. I am her wife. Our parents are obvious archetypes who evoke ancient myths who everyone will read into something to make surprising connections. Our mothers are very different. From Federico Garcia Lorca. Our fathers are Hart Crane. Actually, I left my husband for Betty Friedan in 1968, but Beryl and I both had Betty to thank for our liberation and her feminine mystique, and others. I guess you could call me woman identified. I'd been that way as far back as I could remember. Boys are okay, but I don't believe in dumping a girlfriend to go home with a guy. After that experience of lovemaking with Beryl, was finally able to express my erotic and emotional self and let go. It felt so free. Before we met, I was living in a small space, lost in a private dream and looking for something in the moist jungle. And
we have to wrap it up. Dorothy, we need to move on. Thank you.
The rest you can read when my memoir gets done. Good night. God bless.
Madeline Artenberg. You don't want to be. I'm just one of your many toys. Hi. This is Trouble. My ankle bracelet says we are going steady. We wait until your dad leaves with his band for the cats. Well, throw on his Stan Getz and Astrid Gilberto's Girl from Ipanema. It's Trouble's favorite too, howling with the buzzing sax sections. We check at the door for your mom's raucous snores before removing our underwear. Spread a towel on the red sofa of crushed velour, avoiding the broken springs. Kiss until air and song are gone. We change to Coltrane. You are sitting on the backs of my thighs, rubbing your penis between them. Trouble starts humping furiously on my foot. I move sharply, feel your stab, gasp, blood on the white towel. I throw up. Trouble, choose my shoe. It's 1 a.m. when you get me home. My father won't open the door. I sit bleeding in the cement stairwell. I can't tell Dad I've been broken, and you'll have to wait till we get married to go all the way. And this is Disappearances. Cowboy man in navy striped suit, eyeglasses and pointy-toed boots, offers me a ride, then whips my head around, hammers my mouth into his lap. I float out of body above the white Chevy, watch him slide the knife across my throat. After he's done, I'm pulled back to myself, dumped onto the road. Red neck above his suit collar fades from view as his car jumps ahead. I swivel on stage to Lady Marmalade, see only the pole my red heels clank against, flashes of sheer black bikini underwear. I can't make out the audience below. I hear their breaths hasten, the rough moving of palms beneath tabletops. I miss the last step off the platform. They clap anyway. I forget my name. You kiss me. I close my eyes. Heads rotate faster, faster. Blue light spirals from faces, lines crease like tributaries. I open my eyes. You can't read my mind. You can't read my mind.
Let's hear it for Ellen. So, I'm going to do a little memory. We're going down memory lane here today. So, dedicated to my friend Iris. Because you see, me and Iris, we were just kids listening to rock and roll on scratchy vinyl. In fact, we were listening to that submarine race watching with Murray the K on AM radio, and we wanted to see what it was all about. So we take the train by ourselves to the Brooklyn Fox to see Chuck Berry and to see Little Richard and Jan and Dean and some girl group. Well, we were just kids, but we were already little Brooklyn Foxes who couldn't get enough of that rock and roll music. Well, we get off the train, just like Papa said. We walked to the Brooklyn Fox Theater just like Papa said, except he remembered it from the 30s and nickel matinees in the balcony to watch Charlie Chaplin. Now we're marching through broken sidewalks and broken dreams, and we get down to that broken down theater in time to see it was Little Richard. Woo! Little Richard playing the piano, not the way my mother played. No, not the way the nuns played, not the way my music teacher played. No, he just tutti fruitied all over that keyboard, and he kept that music going, hitting all those high notes. But wait a minute, he looks different. He looks weird. He's wearing makeup. He's wearing pancake makeup, just like my mother wore, and we weren't even wearing makeup yet, but we were a couple of little Brooklyn Foxes who couldn't get enough of that rock and roll music. Well then, we start screaming when Chuck Berry comes out on stage. He's playing the guitar, he's walking that crazy John rock walk, and the crowd goes wild. He's going, Maybelline, why can't you be true? Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, then he's down on the floor playing those riffs on his back. Then all of a sudden, everybody rushes the stage. We get swept up in it, and the only little girls in front of those tough kids from Bed-Stuy, they're trying to cop the feel. And when Chuck sings, why can't you be true? I'm practically on stage eye level, and he's singing right to me, and it felt good, because we were a couple little Brooklyn foxes who couldn't get enough of that rock and roll music. And out comes the cutest blonde teenagers ever. Why, it's Jan and Dean, and they really do sing a song about me. And they go, ba 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 Baran, ba 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 Baran. Well, while we start screaming, yelping, we're dancing in the aisles, and now there's a couple of cops with nightsticks telling everybody, back off, get in your seats. But we keep on dancing till the lights come up. We leave that theater a couple of years wiser and all wound up. So we go next door to the coffee shop. And there, sitting with our egg cream and fries, there, bigger than life, we see the girl group. To be in the girl group. Well, they're all chiffon gowns and beehive hairdos, and look close, and they look like they're wearing masks. They've got tons of makeup and false eyelashes. Be my baby now. Well, they were too scary for us. They looked like very big foxes. Foxes that would eat their babies now. We head out, we walk around the corner. Well, we see two teenagers in the alley in the back of the theater. One of them is throwing up, maybe high, maybe sick, maybe just scared. They were just a few years older than us, just a couple of California surfer boys, and Iris and I look at each other. Why, it was Jan and Dee. And we knew in a New York minute that whether they called you by name or not, boys were always going to try something. But we were always going to get some respect. So we started dancing in the street, because we were just a couple of little Brooklyn foxes who couldn't get enough of that rock and roll music. Any old time you use it, it's got a backbeat, you can't lose it. Any old time you use it, it's gotta be rock and roll music. If you wanna dance with me, sing it with me. If you wanna dance with me. Woo!
This is your radio DJ talking. We have 7 minutes to show end. I have 5 people on the open. If you have a very short piece, you can run up to the stage and start now. That is Maria Perez, Ron Colm, Susan Young, who's after Susan Young, Zora Litsky, and who's the last name? Linda Lerner. I don't think we're going to have time for all of you because we want to do a musical finale, folks, and we'd love you to join in with Dancing in the Streets. Peter is passing a bag, and this is for the videographer, actually. We won't have money to pay anybody tonight. Sorry, folks, but thanks for your contribution. Ron, proceed.
Frankenstein. I saw the Living Theater perform Frankenstein in Philadelphia many years ago. The cast members climbed up a series of platforms until they formed the body of the monster. The only thing I knew about Trump back then was that his casinos sucked. I had no idea I was watching the perfect metaphor for what he would later become. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Next up is Maria Perez. Quickly.
Beautiful show. This is a tanka. September 63. New York piers were just piers then. Was it my last home leave? It was the UN sending us home to familia and cultura.
Woo! Next up, Susan Young. Our videographer, hooray. Thank you, Susan.
Well, in '69, I was at Woodstock Thursday, and I heard Santana and several other musicians. And it was my first date with the Chinatown boy. My sophomore year. But this piece, Child, Mother, Woman, is my, had a roommate on Elizabeth Street and Houston Street. So we sit in our kitchen, painted orange, and call it cooking in a pumpkin. We laugh, bringing comfort to our cooking, cut the vegetables, and you saute the meat. I, child, woman, listen to your motherly ways, you singing and swinging your hips to John Lucian. Say, bring the salt, the soy sauce, more Baileys, taste this. We wait for the soup to simmer and cut thin slices of frozen beef. Chopsticks in hand, we dip them into soy sauce and slowly chew the sinews. You talk of mango trees in Hawaii, and I of the peaches grown in Oregon's backyards. Thus we sit in New York's Lower East Side at the end of Italy in our pumpkin kitchen. Our distances for pumpkin.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Next up, Sora Lipsky, and finally, Linda Lerner.
This is extempore. In the 60s, I learned to scavenge in dumpsters. In the 60s, I learned that food like love is best shared. In the 60s, I learned that potato peels, if you chew them a lot, can taste terrific.
All right.
Linda Lerner, thank you, Sora.
A ghost progeny. He protests limits like me if I was still guaranteed forever, knocking about in 60s male commission instead of planning a life with his father. His son's mortality maps all over his face. Arrogance falters. I am only the woman who loves him. He is only the boy's father, following him in the valley of the shadow of himself. 1968. Survives napalm, fire bombings, seeing the wounded dead helicoptered out. Survives his own death to tell of others. 1993. New threats camouflage Nam's old terrors. Not airborne over mine jungle like his father, but in mother country promised protection of his birth home. Faces the Judas of his own lust. Maybe he too will be lucky, carrying in his blood, his ribs, the seeds of survival history, living his own life and another's. My late partner was a Nam vet who was a door gunner in Nam, who later, with a group of other Nam vets, threw their medals into the White House. I was, at the time, I didn't know him then. I was protesting the war.
Wow. Say wow. Thank you, open mic leaders, and thank you, everyone. Join us now for a musical finale of Dancing in the Streets. I'm calling up to the stage the Poets. And Helen Peterson will lead a dance step. There she is in her castanets. Maria Perez, my poet, the groupie. Girls, show us what you've got. And everyone, thank you so much for coming to what were the 60s really like. Freewheelin. Women who like the show, let them know the cafe and support the cafe, please. They're still here and so are we. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Are you ready for a brand new beat? Woo! Summer's here and the time is right. We're dancing in the street, dancing in Chicago, down in New Orleans, in New York City. Oh, music, sweet music, music everywhere. dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, every guy, grab a girl. Everywhere around the world they'll be dancing. They're dancing in the street. Way down in LA. Ooh, every day. They're dancing in the street. Dancing in the street. Dancing in the street.
Barbara, I'd like to wrap the show on the mic. Say goodbye to everyone. Thanks so much for Sorry.
Oh, it's time to rub copy sheet on.
We're wrapping up, obviously, but I enjoyed entertaining you as much as I could, and I hope you enjoyed. We ran a little over, but I appreciate everyone showing up in your spirit, the spirit of the 60s, and carry it on, please. It's very important that we do a great job, everyone.
Yesterday, you were
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to the readers.
I had to watch this other talk about my body, but I didn't want to read one of them other than